Okay, here's our outfit of today. I'm wearing an XXXTentacion hoodie, a gray shirt underneath, these jeans, purple socks, and these are the shoes.
The second head.
Here.
Heck yeah. Okay, I have crop top.
Yeah, no dip.
Super soft.
Nah, dip.
Jeans.
Oh yeah, it's something.
Why are you trying to show off your
My dirty
That's the outfit of the day.
My dirty. These are my new gray shoes.
What color socks are you wearing?
How you
Gray
not
and
wearing
white.
socks at all?
Gray and white because I'd never match my socks. And my mom doesn't even match it for me.
Mexicans don't match anything.
Because I always just stick everything in the drawer.
We hand me that underneath your
That's what I do.
another one.
That's mine.
Oh, and I have my hair in a braid today. Trash, but it's okay.
Bill right.
What's that bell ringer say? And then they say you can.
Heck yeah. Have a pencil day, guys. What's your amendment? Okay,
Excuse me, I can't see.
the starter question is, what's your amendment says you can't be... I'm gonna fucking...
Good kill you.
I was trying to throw it to Leighton. No, he didn't. I was trying to throw it to Leighton.
She's getting bullied.
Right. What's your amendment?
I don't know what it is. I trash today. My hair sticks out.
Is that a cellular device?
Yes.
Right out that door, right?
The same.
It's okay.
And you know there's no videotaping, right?
Is it the Fifth Amendment?
I don't get caught.
We should talk about nuclear bombs.
I'm older than you. Was it everybody that worked out the same? What was it everybody?
What group are you in?
Actually,
No, you can have a hard workout. They all just did those things. With the ball on your back, you did those.
That hurts. Yeah, you know what that hurts? You gotta have it like that.
Oh, like the Karate Kid.
Yeah, you gotta have it like out. Then he makes us do wall sits for like 30 minutes.
Bro, me and Katie, like, we got to go by ourselves yesterday.
Y'all leave and we go up there and run.
Going down the nanny. Just give me a piece.
I bet, baby.
Why is so nice?
Yeah, for 5.
You want to go from here?
Yeah. Peppermint. Sweet stripes.
Love you.
It says Bob Sweet Stripes.
Oh,
It's green. I don't think that's how peppermints are.
Christian, that's kind of bad.
we're gonna start having a little Bible study in the morning. So we're gonna have a new verse to teach on each day.
But yeah, whatever.
That's inappropriate when you post it on your story. I saw your nipples.
Our Bible verse for today is gonna be John 3:16. I already know that.
I'll do the Bible verse tomorrow.
God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, whoever shall not perish have everlasting life. I want to think of that.
It's like, it's natural.
I said, Jackson, when we go to work out, Jackson just takes off my
And our question of the day is, how's your New Year's been so far, and what new goals are you setting for this year?
Yeah. Your New Year's resolution. Oh, and did you even... One question is, did you meet your 2018 resolution goals?
Down below.
Or are you still working on them? Heck yeah.
Working in 2019. What's your goal for you?
Coach, he touches everybody. He went in there and grabbed Hunter's butt.
To bring my F's up.
What happened because she
Smart kid. What's your goal thing?
I don't know.
Jonathan probably wouldn't care.
Probably to learn to do actually something with my hair. Because I could barely do this morning. I did 3 tries just to put it in a braid like this. So
Look at those, man. Okay, right here. Look at it.
I'll basically be the vlogs anymore.
Here, set that top. Hola.
It's okay. It's okay that you fell.
Heck yeah. She will be fine.
I like your sweatshirt.
Thanks.
Is that the one you found before Christmas?
It was 3. It was literally in the sock drawer. Because she didn't think I would look there.
I got
But it was
2
in
things.
her sock drawer, not mine.
I only got 3 things for Christmas.
Cool.
What'd you get?
A lot of money and then like random stuff.
I got a trip to Mexico, a pair of boots, and a new bed comforter to redo my whole room.
And then what?
New bed comforter so I can redo my whole room. Oh, Madeline stole a TV, live footage.
What'd you do?
Stole a TV.
Somebody tried to steal it and bolted out the function on the ground.
I need scissors. Pains are
So we went to
open.
Under Armour. It was you smell like you steal.
No, don't do scissors because I'm gonna make this special.
He stole a water bottle.
Must not allowed to blow.
It was like a $40 water bottle.
And Michaela was the one that said no.
I know it was like.
So you gotta ask her to be in the
He
vlog.
doesn't have any scissors there.
Grayson asked if he could be in the vlogs again.
I don't know. That's up to one.
That's up to Michaela.
I won't ever,
That's your phone.
To your phone.
I won't ever choose you ever again.
Are we supposed to do one this week?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Oh, I think let's go. Ah! Oh, that's my pencil.
I don't like her.
I also like walking up there. So,
Where are they at?
up there. We're gonna get them at the end of class. Alright, yeah.
We're cool with the K. Cool. Oh, I gotta make Antonio and I miss you note, even though I did yesterday.
I just like how like the guys are pretty.
Do you have any markers?
No.
Guys?
I literally got that message from you. I missed you when I had Wi-Fi one time over there.
Oh yeah.
I'll play by myself sometimes. I'll send it to people that are.
Do you have a marker? A marker.
It's like 9 o'clock at night. I don't feel like
This is
doing
Lydia.
Mr. Moses, there's all kinds of paper right here. Who did that?
Well, at first I wondered if it was you, but then I thought that would have required effort. And I thought, no, wait a minute, that would, he's not going to do that. So,
Heck yeah.
I think I know it.
Thanks. So
Yeah,
nice.
I'll pretty soon know because they know. No, I think the guilty party is in the class next period, so I'm going to.
Why didn't you get cleaned up last night?
Because I told the janitor not to. Because it's the janitor's job to clean up the standard, ordinary, run-of-the-mill dust, dirt, it's not her job to clean up sorry, lazy people's crap that they don't have enough decency to throw in the trash can. So, there you go.
Do they have the right to speedy trial?
No, it's
Heck yeah. He's gonna love this.
Alabama lost last night.
I swear if those stories, I'm gonna slap him.
Alabama got their butt.
You did.
So good.
I mean, Sean was at 46 to 16.
They got beat by a quarterback, and I think his name should be Sunshine. Have you seen his hair?
That's what they call Ashton Drakeford.
Yeah, it looks like Ashton Draker.
Who looks like Justin Bieber?
Where'd you get this?
I messed up.
Justin Bieber. Oh.
I messed up again. It's okay. He wants it. It's okay. We'll make it work.
It says triple.
Yeah, shake your head.
There's scribbles on it. This what's that, the blue? Purple.
Ooh. Missy.
Yep.
Just like.
This. My mom took it.
They're up for adoption.
Yep.
You want them? No, they understand English.
They do so.
No. No.
Where do you get those?
No one else is paying
So guys, when you're
Hey, give me one. You can give me a gun and a
Austin, what's your shirt?
like
That was fuzzy.
voice in it.
That said miniature pencil aquarium. Yeah, miniature mostly.
Hey Austin, why do you want these on shirt?
Oh, yeah.
This is a different shirt, smart one.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Calling out his dad. Oh.
Why do you have the same glasses every day?
And the same jacket.
Vaughn, why do you wear the same glasses every day?
Because I'm awesome like that.
You're right. It was cool.
He joined.
Layton's not cool because he doesn't have glasses.
Oh, never mind.
Everyone else is cool without glasses except Layton. Oh, Layton's a loser. Oh, dang, he's gonna see. Looks like. Oh, hold on. Is it them or no?
Oh, why would I be yelling
Ow.
All right.
Okay.
That's really cute.
All y'all do
This can't be great. You.
No.
Mark out.
All right, enough bids. What is the answer to start the question?
Fifth.
Double
Fifth.
Yes.
What is the fifth? The fifth. All right. You going to steal anything last night?
When?
She stole a dick.
Yes. Thank you.
She stole Austin's stuff.
Is this here?
No.
Okay, beeping it.
You don't like sports?
So mean with that basketball game. Like, I thought it'd be like not as bad as football. There were kids just sitting. Okay, you know, like when they catch the ball and somebody shoots,
What's
sitting at
your
the back of the
favorite
line,
sport?
and other kids like, oh,
Why you don't know?
face. He's like, I'll throw a ball in. Why are you so hard? I seen a little black kid. He was just dressed.
Oh.
Another guy.
All you have to say is
And
that.
then,
How old is these kids?
oh, it was sixth grade. And then in football, it's nowhere near as bad. But in sixth grade, they were sitting there elbowing.
Typical white guy.
Yeah, demonstrate more.
I've never had nobody that bad on football.
Please just demonstrate more.
All right, now. So, as we continue
I
on,
got 800.
what was the last note we had yesterday? The sixth?
The seventh?
No, the seventh.
Oh, no.
Amendment.
The
Did
ninth
you get the
amendment.
seventh?
Yes.
I thought you were only on the 6th.
No, we're
Oh yeah. I remember.
Over $20. All right.
Okay.
So if it was 1999, would I still be able to do it?
Wait, Michaela, look, I want to stay up.
And God, in more than 3 days. You come back in 3 days. I'm so happy.
What?
You come back in 3 days, but you might come back on Monday. I don't know. It's like Friday.
Do not. Oh, this one. Lindsay.
I got one.
I got one.
You know your Constable Jokers?
Mr. Mustard, can we boycott taxes? Boycott what?
Then your stuff to get.
I did hear speaking of taxes, yeah, I did hear an interesting take on something this morning. A person on the news asked the question, if a third of the government is shut down, shouldn't our taxes be cheaper because there's all this stuff we're not having to pay for? But that won't happen.
That's foolish.
They'll still get their money.
Well, people will worry about them still getting their tax refunds.
Why's the
They
government
made
shut down?
they said that yesterday that, they're gonna make sure that taxes tax refunds get taken.
Mr. Moser, why is the government shut down right now?
Because, Trump wants $5 billion for a border wall, and Democrats won't give it to him.
I'm gonna make him a cake.
So,
Oh,
the
okay,
same
fine.
bill that Democrats have passed a bill to fund the government, the president won't sign it unless it includes his $5 billion for the wall, and the Democrats won't give it to him, so they're having a standoff.
Isn't he?
Why doesn't he just wait 14 days, doesn't it automatically?
Isn't he dipping into the military's money?
Do what?
Isn't he dipping into the military?
He is toying with the idea. They have the extra money that he could use it. It's not a $5 billion sounds like a lot of money to us,
It isn't.
but to the federal government, $5 billion is a very small amount.
Pocket change.
Yeah, that's
I know.
that's nothing to the federal government. So it's not a matter of we can't afford it or we don't, it's just a matter of, the president wants it. He's a Republican, the Democrats are Democrats, and they don't want to give it to him because they don't want him to have what he wants. It's nonsense, silly little nonsense.
Why don't we just put why don't we just put a bunch of guns up there, and we see people that are trying to run the office, why don't we just shoot them?
Would the Bleeding Heart liberals,
They're in there illegally though.
the Bleeding Heart liberals won't let us have a fence, much less have guns and shoot people. What?
Will there ever be a trillionaire?
Huh?
We have billionaires, will there ever be a trillionaire?
We have trillionaires.
Gosh, I doubt it.
I'm a trillionaire.
There's no extra.
I'm a
The richest man
trillionaire.
has like $17 billion.
All right, now,
No.
so 8th Amendment. If I was ever elected president, which I was president, if anybody ever put me in charge,
I know, but I need them to order.
which they won't, I would make some changes to the 8th Amendment. Nobody's crazy enough to do that.
Okay. You be president.
No. The 8th Amendment says, the first part of it, sit down there, boys. First part, huh? Well, sit down, but now, I can't see it. 8th Amendment says that there will be no excessive bail or fines. Now, what does excessive mean?
Like a lot.
Too much. A lot, too much. Bail, for those of you who don't know what bail is,
Where you pay to go out of jail.
that's your get out of jail free money. If Madeline has been arrested for stealing her TV,
You stole it.
her mama,
You stole it.
the judge has set her bail at $500. Not really, not considered a crime. So they put her bail at $500. Her mama can come along, pay $500, take Madeline home with her. And my understanding on it is that when Madeline shows up for her court date, on the day she's supposed to be there, and she shows up on time, she gets her $500 back. If she doesn't show up, she's not there when she's supposed to be, then they keep the money. What they do with the money, I do not have any idea. but that's
How
the
about
way I
parking?
understand it. Now, yes, you can, oh, yeah, yeah.
But if you're sick though, will they still give you your money back if you go again?
Well, you're gonna have to do some kind of proving or something or whatever. You can't just walk up and say, oh, I wasn't feeling good. So, the,
In the hospital.
the bail money that you pay to get out, and you don't always get bail. Sometimes you don't, the judge will not give you bail. That would come in a very serious crime, or if the judge feels that you are a threat to society, or if the judge feels like that you are a threat to take off and not show back up, leave the country, or something like that. Sometimes they will require you to, if they're going to let you out of jail and you've done something pretty big, they may make you give up your passport. If you have one, you have to turn in your passport to try to keep you in the country. But anyway, the bail has to fit the crime according to the 8th Amendment. Now, Madeline's case, I said $500 for stealing a TV. That would probably be excessive because the TV probably wasn't worth $500. But that was the first number that came in my head. So, if you steal a car, they're not going to set your bail at $1 million. It has to be something somewhat that fits the crime. All right, Layton, you get 3 questions today.
That's not really
3 questions. So, choose wisely.
So like, if you're in jail for like murder, like how do you get on parole? Do you have to pay for parole too?
For parole?
I mean like bail. Can you, like if you're in jail, can you pay?
It
Like if you
depends-
murdered somebody.
Well, it depends on. It depends on the circumstances of the case. Killing somebody is not necessarily considered murder. Murder is you did it on purpose, you intended to do it. If you did it on purpose, it was your intention to do it, you thought about it, you planned it, and you executed the plan, that's murder. More than likely, you are not going to get out of jail. They're going to keep you there, you're not going to get out, okay? The other cases of somebody killing somebody, it was, me and Austin got in an argument that led to pushing and shoving. One thing leads to another, and he pulls out a knife and stabs me to death. All right, that would not be considered murder because it just happened in the heat of the moment. They'll probably give him a $50,000, $60,000, $75,000 bail.
You pay that, Austin?
Yeah.
Dang, colors the murder, why don't you?
It's for
Making a gay flag for Antonio. Making a gay flag for Antonio. She said, I miss you, and then she put a gay flag.
Is that for Antonio?
yes, because I miss him.
And he's gay.
Where's Antonio even at?
Mexico.
From Mexico.
Did you get to meet Antonio there?
What?
Why are all the Mexicans going there? Why are all the Mexicans going to Mexico?
That was my Christmas present.
Did you jump the
So anyway.
go get back?
What's your...
The bail has to be something that fits the crime. If it's very serious, a serious crime, if it's pretty big time, I don't know, different circumstances, but the judge will not give bail. You just have to stay there until your court date. What? Well, again, it just kind of depends on if it was planned or not. You know, if you
It's like
You're
all
mad
the
at
school
some-
shooters or everything, or that's planned, isn't it?
yeah.
I just want to see a kangaroo.
Like, got a gun in your pocket.
In its natural habitat.
Alright, so anyway, now, that part of it, also, some of the fines that you are given, if you have to pay a fine, the fine also, just like with bail, it has to be, something that's comparable to what you've done. You can't, if you have I don't know, you pay a fine for reckless driving and you tear up somebody's property or something, I don't know what you pay a fine for, but the fine has to be something that is, something that's comparable to what you do.
Is manslaughter where you accidentally kill somebody?
There's two questions. Alright. Manslaughter is where you killed somebody, but you didn't intend to, it's an accident.
Like, my,
Now, here's the part that I do not like about the Eighth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment prohibits cruel or unusual punishment. I believe that there still should be cruel and unusual punishment. Alright? I think it's appropriate. What?
Isn't cruel and unusual punishment like torture?
Cruel and unusual punishment is whatever the bleeding
deserve.
parts of society that feel sorry for everybody, it's whatever they think it is. Okay? Ever since you track down the history of law and justice and crime and punishment and all that, and it's always been, at least for the last several hundred years anyway, it has always been a constant search for a less cruel way of carrying out justice. Okay? We have talked about that during the colonial time period. If you look at the pictures I have up there, you have that black and white picture. That is a person who's in the stocks. No, that's not the thing where the blade drops down, chops your head off. That's the, you stick your head and your hands in there and you stay there for a few hours or a few days, and you're in a public place and you pee on yourself and you poop your britches and people throw rotten food at you. That is punishment by humiliation. Well, sometime along the way, somebody in their mind decided that it's not right to humiliate and embarrass someone. We shouldn't do those kinds of things to these people. It's just not right. So we don't do that anymore. See, I think we still should. I think you should have something like that. Huh? And if I do that, if I do something, I do that, guess what? I'm the one that chose to do it. Too bad.
You would regret
All right,
it.
that's the way it goes. Now, what I think you should do, take one of them puppies there, set it out down middle of town somewhere, put it out there maybe out in front of the fort, and somebody gets caught not paying child support or something like that, put them in there for a few days. Let them sit there and cook their britches.
That's not fair.
Somebody's out here drunk driving, put them in there for a few days. Let them cook their britches. Let people go by and make fun of them. Hey, see, I don't see nothing wrong with that. They might think twice before they do something like that again. See that old boy there to the left? Is that picture standing out in front of Walmart? All right, there, you will see that very, very, very few places, because most people will not do that because it's cool and unusual. It's embarrassing. They don't want to be embarrassed like that. All right, so you don't see that very often.
It's the electric chair.
I think that'd be awesome. They should do that. Somebody gets caught shoplifting, they should have to stand in front of the store all day long wearing a sign like that. Everybody see.
Didn't Trump bring back the death penalty?
No, he never, death penalty never was gone anywhere.
Oh, no.
Now, so then you start looking at the death penalty. The death penalty has gone through a constant search for a more humane, less painful, less violent means of getting rid of people. So we start out with the good old-fashioned hanging someone.
Gas?
All right?
Or like
So you
injecting with something.
stop, hush. So you start out with hanging. The problem with hanging is sometimes a person's neck goes and they're dead instantly. Other times they swing for a while. And a lot of times it has to do.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it has to do with how far the drop is, and also it has to do with the placement of the knot. If you place the knot on the rope to the side,
How do you know all this?
I just do.
Whether the drop.
Hush, I'm talking. If you put the rope to the side, put the knot right here, generally it'll snap the neck if they fall far enough. If you put the knot back here, they'll swing for an hour or two before they finally slowly settle.
Ew.
So, that is not a pretty way to go. It is a long, drawn-out, painful process. It's the snap, don't snap. So, anyway, so somewhere along the line, then you also start shooting people. You have your firing squads and all that kind of good stuff, which is pretty bloody and all that stuff. But anyway, so then as time goes on, people start coming up with other means of execution. Somebody come up with the idea for the electric chair. Oh, that would be good and fast and instant. You hook somebody up to a lot of electricity and you throw the switch and it's just like flicking on a light switch. They're instantly dead.
Got some wet
But the problem is it doesn't really always work that way. Sometimes it does, but most of the time, you're gonna sit there and shake and shock and spark and smoke and sizzle for a little bit before you finally wink out. All right. Huh? Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, you get good crispy. Sometimes you fry fast and it's over. Other times they gotta throw the switch on you. And sometimes they'll throw the switch and you'll sit there and shake for a while.
But they have to put a wet
And then
sponge
they'll
on
have
your
to, stop. Doctor comes in, listens with the stethoscope, says, nope, ain't dead yet, and they throw the switch on you again. So, that's interesting. Now, the electric chair in most states is not, they do not use it anymore. In a few states, it's still legal to use the electric chair. I don't think that I don't think it's the sole means of execution anywhere. But like in Kentucky, there's a certain date. I ain't got a clue what that date is. But there was a certain date that Kentucky's official means of execution switched from electric chair to lethal injection. So if you were on death row when they made the switch, whenever your time comes, which Kentucky never comes, they never execute anybody. So when your time comes, you get to choose either stick with the electric chair or go with the lethal injection. Most states is lethal injection. Now, with lethal injection, if you don't understand it, they give you one medicine, just like you're going to have surgery. They give you one medicine that puts you to sleep, and then once you're asleep, they give you another medicine that stops your heart. So now you have bleeding heart softies out there that are even whining and complaining and saying that that's too bad because they think that perhaps even though you're asleep that you might feel the other medicine you might feel your heart stopping and it might be painful. Well, nobody's ever woke up and say, hey, that hurt. So until they do, I mean, I don't understand that. You can put somebody to sleep and you can cut them open. You can cut guts out. You can go in and sew guts back together. You can take a heart out. You can go in and put another one in, you know, and the person can wake up. You can rip their ribs apart, go in there and cut their ribs and break the ribs and cut them to pieces and pull them out, and they never feel a thing. But yet we're going to sit here and say, well, maybe when their heart just stops beating, they feel it, and it's like a heart attack and it's painful for them. So, I don't care. I don't care. I hope it does. Shouldn't have done whatever you did to get there in the first place. So, you've always got the bleeding hearts. What?
Why do you, isn't it true that like whenever you're on death row, don't you get to have one thing that you always wanted?
My one last
I
meal.
know, but you get to pick your last meal.
Oh, okay.
What?
I have two questions. First of all, about hanging, is that what they call, what is that the expression like someone swing hang from?
Yep.
And do you think that pedophiles should be put on death row?
Yeah.
Should they put on death row? Depends on what they did. If they killed the kid, yeah. If they didn't kill the kid, no. But they should be in jail forever.
Eli, weren't you always on this thing you're gonna?
Pedophiles have a miserable, rough life in prison. Even hardcore criminals don't like people who hurt little children. So people who hurt little children, when they go to jail, ooh, they get rough. So it's better to keep them alive and let them suffer. Now, just for kicks and giggles, a few states back in the 50s, 60s, 70s experimented with a little deal called gas chamber.
Oh.
Now, this didn't last too terrible long because it didn't take a mental heavyweight to figure out that this is pretty cruel, which is why I like it. But, so you take this person, you got a room that's about just a 4 foot by 4 foot room, just a little bitty room. It's got a chair in there, just like the electric chair. You take you in there, they strap you down. You tie it to the chair. You've got a little container of some kind of a liquid that sits underneath the chair. And then you've got some little tablets of some type of chemical that once they're ready, they drop the tablets into the water, the other chemical. The two mix and create a poison gas. And then when you breathe it in, it fries your lungs and everything, and you suffocate to death. That's pretty cool. So, you know, you get to sit there, you're all tied down, you can't go nowhere, you get to hear the plop, plop, fizz, fizz. And, oh man, that'd be, but they would tell them sometimes, they'd tell them hold your breath as long as you can. And then when you breathe in real deep, suck all that gas in and kills you faster. I don't know. But that one didn't last very long, and they got rid of it because they said, yeah, maybe we missed the mark on this, and this was pretty cool.
Is that because all them Jews got gas?
When people like hold their breath for like a few minutes somehow.
Ain't nobody hold their breath over
There's a
10
dude
minutes.
that can
This
hold
is
his
your
breath
game
for
plan.
23 minutes.
Well, he's trained to do that. Some knucklehead on death row ain't trained to do that, something like that. They'll hold their breath 35, 40 seconds is about it, and then they're dead. No, not that fast. Foaming and all that. Cool. Now, so I am definitely a fan of cruel and unusual punishment because, from my perspective, you earned it. You deserve it. You earned it. Did you have any
You get a gold star.
You killed? Would you there? No.
What if they did something to you first, though?
Huh?
What if they killed your son? Why not kill them?
What?
Oh, so say like they did something to your son.
I think you're way beyond your 3 questions.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
only on 2 right now.
No, that's 3.
No.
Yes, third. You're done.
No, I'm not.
Now, so
There's only like 2 people that have.
even today, the whiny butt. Of course, I already said that the whiny butts that are doing the crying and whining about the death penalty, the lethal injection, are trying to find some chemical that might be less cruel. I don't know. What?
Any other means of
Not today. Firing squad is still the official method of execution in Utah, but Utah doesn't have they don't execute.
Isn't that kind of murder? Since you're shooting your
No, you're just killing somebody.
exactly.
That's all. Just killing
The
someone.
first person, sometime in the late 60s, early 70s, nationwide, the death penalty was ruled unconstitutional. So for like 10 or 12 years, there was no death penalty. And then somewhere in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s or something like that, they brought the death penalty back. And the first person to be executed was actually in Utah. He was executed by firing squad. And I remember reading about it. And they put you in the chair. Of course, you're strapped down to this chair, or maybe it's a post.
You're blindfolded.
I don't know, but anyway, so
Where was she?
quiet. So they have like 5 rifles.
For one person?
Would you all just let me finish? They have 5 rifles, and they are actually mounted, bolted down and zeroed in, right where the heart would be. So there's no aiming it, it's just a matter of going and pulling the trigger. And so there's 5 of them. Only one actually has a real bullet. The other 4 have a blank. So the 5 people who pull the trigger, no one knows who actually fired the real bullet. And that's supposed to be so that you don't, at some point later in life, turn into a bleeding heart and say, oh, I feel so bad because I killed that guy. Well, you don't know that you did. You only had a 20% chance that you were the one. But that was the only person in modern times that's been shot and executed by firing squad. Like I say, it's still the official means of execution in Utah, but Utah doesn't have the death penalty, so it doesn't matter anyway. And I want to think that there's another state somewhere that's the same deal. They don't execute, but it's theirs is still, their official method is still hanging you, but they don't do anything, so it doesn't really matter. It could be kill you by poking your eyeballs out with toothpicks or something for all that. Because they don't execute, so it doesn't matter what it is.
Wasn't the last person hung in 1939 maybe?
I don't know. That, for some reason, that does kind of sound right. Now, if I were in charge, now here's some things that I would do if I were in charge, which I'm not. Years ago, this was like early to mid 90s, okay, long before you all. There was this chick in South Carolina, and she comes all of a sudden one day, I don't know, calls the police department, comes running into the police department or something, and she's going nuts. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I've been carjacked. Someone stole my car. And my 2 kids, 4 and 2 years old, were in their car seats in the back seat. I can't find them. I don't know where they are. What are we going to do? Oh no, it's terrible, it's terrible. So, this goes on for 4 or 5 days, a week. This is big news all over the country. This lady's kids have disappeared. Somebody stole her car, and her kids are missing. Please, you can have my car. I don't care who you are, whatever. Just turn my kids loose, and don't worry about it. You can have my car. Just turn my kids loose. And this goes on. And then she's on the news all the time. Now, I would have to give my other half credit for this one. She said from day one, the mother did it. And the father had nothing to do with it. And I'm thinking, how do you know?
Who said it?
My wife. She said that the mother did it. You're going to find out when it's all said and done that the mother did something to the kids, and the father has no idea about it. And I said, how do you figure that? She said, because when they're on the news and people are talking to it, the mother is calm. She's not crying. The father is crying so hard, he can't hardly get a word out. He didn't have anything to do with it. She did it. Nope, you're done.
No, I need to.
Nope, you're done. Nope, you're done.
No, my.
So anyway, she, this goes on for about a week, and finally, scuba divers found her car with her kids in the back seat, still in the back seat at the bottom of the local lake.
Were they alive?
No.
Yeah.
She had, come to find out, she had her a new man on the side. Her and the husband may have been divorced. But anyway, so she had her a new man, and she was all in love. Oh, it's love. But he didn't want a ready-made family, so he was pretty much going to dump her because he didn't want kids. So to get her man and get rid of her kids, she pulls up to the boat launching ramp, puts her car in neutral, rolls the windows down, and pushes her car with her kids in it, strapped into their car seats, into the lake. So it floats out into the middle of the lake, slowly sinking, and finally it gets far. And they had searched this lake twice already. and hadn't found her car. But apparently it floated way out into the middle of the lake before it finally sunk and drowned the kids. So they didn't find the car until they went really deep out into the lake. So she drowned her kids on purpose to get rid of them so she could have this new man. Now, she got life in prison without any possibility of parole. So she's going to spend the rest of her life in prison. Now, see, if I was in charge, that's not what we would have done. We would have taken her and tied her to something weighted.
I'm gonna shot that sucker like a deer.
Oh, I got a better idea than that. We tied her to something heavy. We would have put her in the bottom of
I don't think he said what I thought he said.
and we would slowly fill the swimming pool up with water. Because you know that her little kids sat in the back seat of that car and slowly watched that water slowly rising. The 2-year-old may not have ever figured it out. 4-year-old did. Ain't no way the 4-year-old didn't understand that sooner or later that water's gonna get up high enough and I'm not gonna be able to breathe. So that kid is watching that water slowly rise while his mama is sitting there letting him drown. So let's slowly fill the swimming pool up with water, just like that car slowly filled up with water. But to add just a little twist to it, while she's sitting there slowly watching the water slowly rise, we show home movies of her children on the side of the pool for her to watch while the water's rising. There you go. All right. Wouldn't that, see that, now that's by, you know. There was, what? If that's not cruel enough, I have another story.
Story time.
There's a, in Texas, there was a homeless man that, this is somewhere along the same line, same time. There was a homeless guy in Texas, and a couple of rednecks. Well, let's just. Alright, y'all can stop watching him. A couple of these old rednecks picked him up one night, pretended
That's what happened.
they was going to give him a ride somewhere that he was trying to get to. Got him out where nobody was looking, tied him up, chained him to the back of their truck, and drove all through the countryside on country gravel roads with him chained up, dragging behind the truck. And they're just driving down the road and he's dragging behind them. And finally, they went around the curve and he was slinging out wide behind